welcome you watching India Today. I'm Gaurav. Sawant. There is a red alert along the coastal belt in Gujarat. In fact, there is a massive rain alert in 8 states. But when it comes to parts of Karnataka, parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra, the situation is extremely grim at this point of time. There's a red alert in Gujarat. The Army, the Navy and the Air Force, they have their teams on standby. Army engineer columns are ready for restoration operations. So Army engineers, they'll be called out to restore lines, communication lines, bridges should the need arise. Indian Air Force has put its transport fleet, the C-17s, the C-130Js, they've been put on standby to move men and material. The Indian Navy and the Coast Guard, they have their ships, and the Navy has its maritime reconnaissance aircraft, including the P-8Is, on standby. The latest information that we are getting to you on Cyclone Biparjoy is that you have at least 50,000 people. The information we have at 10 p.m., at least 50,000 people have now been moved out of the coastal area to safety. From the coastline to 10 kilometers, it's not safe. India Today reports from Ground Zero. I'll get you the latest during the course of this broadcast. But first, as always, the headlines on India First. Tamil Nadu Prime Minister Senthil Balaji remanded to 14 days in judicial custody. He is currently in the intensive care unit after he complained of massive chest pain. The Stalin government withdraws general consent for CBI operations. Karnataka Minister M.B. Patil invites Adani and Ambani to invest in the state. This after the minister said the state was keen on heading the operations and maintenance of airports on its own. Amidst the ad controversy, Maharashtra government's Hum Saath Saath Hai damage control message. Shinde government releases a new ad featuring Devendra Fadnavis and Shinde as the faces of development and growth in Maharashtra. Bombs, bullets and blood politics in Bengal. Clashes between Trinamool Congress and opposition continue ahead of Panchayat elections. Nine people are dead in fresh violence in Manipur. Arson and firing reported in the Kangpokpi district. More breaking news coming in. There's a fire that's been reported inside the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport in Kolkata. The fire has been reported from the departure lounge area. There you see that images of fire at one of the counters. The reason of that fire is still unknown. But look at those images as we put them out on your television screen. 3 fire tenders have been rushed to the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport in Kolkata. Look at those images. A massive fire engulfed the departure lounge area. Was it a short circuit? The fire started from one of the counters and suddenly spread. Huge plumes of smoke were seen rising this entire area. The departure lounge area was barricaded. It was cordoned off. People were removed from that area, is the information that we are getting. Fire at the departure section 3. And this departure section 3 has since been closed. 3 fire tenders were rushed. For more on the story, I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Suryagni Roy joining us from Kolkata for more on this. Suryagni, what more do we know of this fire?
The fire broke a while back inside the departure terminal of Kolkata International Airport, or rather Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport. Now, thankfully, the passengers were, evacuated from that particular zone. It had happened. The fire broke out at the sea. That is what the initial reports have, surfaced so far. three fire tenders were rushed initially, and then more troops of firefighters were rushed in. Sort of, thankfully, no one was injured, and no serious injury has happened, or no casualty has happened to any airport staff or any passenger over there. The passengers who were around that particular zone, they were firstly they were moved, and secondly they were evacuated. Yes, there was a lot of black smoke that engulfed from the fire. Uh, uh, the airport authorities try to calm people down over there, so that pandemonium does not pop up. People do not panic, because you can understand, Gaurav, uh, fire, when it breaks, especially in an area like an airport, it will create a lot of panic and pandemonium. Thankfully, that was brought under control, and as of now, the fire is still, firefighters are still trying to get it under their control, but thankfully no loss of life or any injury or serious injury so far.
There
Back
a
to you.
fear? Is there an apprehension that this fire could spread? We are told that this entire area has been evacuated. Is there an apprehension this fire could spread? Any initial information on the cause of the fire at the airport?
See, what we are getting right now is that they are being, the fire department is able to, corner the fire, right? Even if it's not completely doused off, it is in the process of being doused off, and it has been some way tackled. It has been cornered to make sure that it does not spread to any other wing. Gaurav, as I said, that a fire in an airport is a very, very, very dangerous thing, or a very crazy thing that can happen, because we all have seen how the situations are basically in an international airport, and especially of an international airport in a metro, and there are so many international flights that take off and land, especially at this hour of the day, that is during the night time. There are flights that come from abroad, and there are flights that take off at this particular time from the Calcutta International Airport, especially for Southeast Asia. Now, thankfully, the fire was cornered, and what we are understanding is that it has been it
Okay,
has been cornered to a place that it does not spread, and
fair
more
enough.
important, thankfully, no one was injured, no serious injuries or
Keep tracking
injuries
that
of any
story.
kind.
I will come back to you for more on the Suryagni Roy for the moment. Many thanks. There's more breaking news that's coming in. The situation is tense in Gujarat, especially in the coastal belt. 3 p.m. tomorrow is when the cyclone is supposed to make landfall. The apprehension is it may cause massive damage. NDRF teams have already been deployed. Apart from the National Disaster Response Force, the State Disaster Response Force, and now looking at the intensity of the very severe cyclonic storm, the information that we're getting right now is that Army, Navy and Air Force teams have also been asked to be on standby. Both the Indian Navy and Coast Guard, their ships, their aircraft, especially the maritime reconnaissance aircraft, the Dorniers when it comes to the Navy and the Coast Guard, and the P-8I long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft, they too have been put on standby. Multiple army columns are now the ones in Gujarat deployed, the ones elsewhere on standby to be sent should there be a need. There's a red alert. A red alert has been issued across Saurashtra, Dwarka, Porbandar and the Kutch coastal belt. The information we have as at 10 p.m, at least 50,000 people have now been evacuated to safety. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Abhishek Bhalla joining us with the latest on the military efforts that are being undertaken. We also have Ashutosh and Brijesh joining us for more on this big story. But I want to come to you first. Ashutosh, you're on ground zero. Give us details, one, of the preparations at this time, especially when a red alert has been sounded and people are being moved to safety. Ashutosh, can you hear me? Ashutosh, what's the latest on ground?
The armed forces and the NDRF have been working tirelessly over the last 24.
Well, as far as the preventive measures are concerned, in fact, the hospitals are put on standby, adequate number of beds, looking at this cluster and the amount of people that are living in this particular region of country. All these arrangements have been made in place. The fire brigade has put on standby. In fact, the quick response team has been formed by Nagar Palika and the local administration to ensure after the high wind speed, if there is a tree falling, blocking the roads, blocking the connectivity for the ambulances or the medical or any such emergency, so the quick response team will handle those situations. There's a monitoring room made at the municipal house where these monitoring will take place. Of course, the coastal lines have already been evacuated since morning, and there are several relief shelters like this where I am reporting at the moment. And these shelter homes are ensuring that maximum people, those who are evacuated from the low-lying areas, get food, get medicines, and everything that they need for the next 48 hours until this safe passage of this cyclone from this region of Mandivi and Kutch. So at the moment, everyone is waiting, bracing for the impact that will hit coastal line at around 3 o'clock tomorrow. But remember, there will be pre-impact of the cyclone early since morning. The wind speed gonna be higher, the ocean gonna be really rough from tomorrow. So for now, all preventive measures are done. People are just waiting and praying that let this cyclone passes and potentially it won't create much damage. But as far as the gusting wind speed is concerned, which is going to be up to 150 kmph, this reminds exactly the situation that unfolded in the parts of Kutch and Bhuj in 1998 when there was similar cyclone and hundreds of people, thousands of people were affected. So when the measures that are taken to ensure there is no loss of life, but when it is a such cyclonic situation, the eye of storm passing through this coastal line, it is indeed going to be literally damaging and significantly, potentially damaging the infrastructure, be it the telecom, be it the electrical, or everything that we see around. So that will be a really major challenge for the authority, for the government, for the administration to restore and get back to the normalcy.
Okay. Stay safe. Keep an eye on the situation. I also want to bring in Abhishek on the preparations that the Army, the Navy and the Air Force are doing right now. I believe Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reviewed the preparations along with the 3 service chiefs. What's the deployment on ground like, Abhishek?
The armed forces and the NDRF have been working tirelessly over the last 24 hours now, ensuring that people are evacuated from areas that are going to be severely hit. There are in fact more than 55 teams, 55 columns to be precise, just of the Indian Army, which means more than 2,500 personnel who are on ground. These also include personnel from the engineering services of the Army, the medical teams from the Army that have been deployed to take care of all kinds of situations that arise. Pre-landfall, a lot of work has been done by these forces on the ground, ensuring people are taken to relief camps. They are moved away from areas that could be severely hit. Also, plans are on ground to ensure that post the landfall, all kinds of arrangements are made so that people get shelter. If there are medical emergencies, they can be addressed without any delay. And this is something which the armed forces are seen doing every time there is a natural calamity like this one. And once again, we see the armed forces working in complete synergy along with the NDRF to make sure relief and evacuation missions can be carried out smoothly.
Brijesh, have people been moved to safety where you are, this entire belt, not just where the eye of the storm is likely to be in Kutch, but whether it's Porbandar or the Jaku Port area? What's the situation on ground?
Yes, definitely the red alert has been issued for Devbhoomi Dwarka as well. Dwarka district is just along the coastline of the Gujarat, and there has been prediction in the earlier times that the cyclone may hit Dwarka, but luckily the cyclone has passed from the Dwarka and is reaching towards the Jakho port of the Kutch. So all the preparations has been done, all the precautionary steps has been taken by the government of Gujarat, and the ground situation is very much under control of the government authorities. Also, the Minister of State Gujarat, Harsh Sanghvi, is giving the instructions and giving the full power to the administration from the Dwarka itself. So he is guiding the administration from the last 3 days, and all kind of steps has been taken. Also, right now the situation is under control of the government, but still they are looking after the restoration work. If whatever will be the situation after the landfall of the cyclone, if there will be any kind of flood kind of situation or other kind of situation which will worsen the situation, in that case, in that type of scenario, all kind of restoration work will be done. NDRF and SDF teams has been deployed. Army, Navy and Coast Guard is also in the help of the local administration. So all kind of steps have been taken, and authorities are very much sure that there won't be any kind of issues, and they will be able to minimize the damage, or there won't be any human death.
Gentlemen, keep tracking that story. Stay safe. I will come to all of you for more on the story. India today has the biggest team of reporters on ground zero, and these are some of the reports that we've collated about the preparations that have been made so far, including one, moving people to safer areas and ensuring that medical facilities are in place, food, water, medical facilities, and of course, whatever is required for restoration effort. We bring you these ground reports.
Towering waves, howling winds, boats anchored tightly in harbours. Residents seek refuge from the brewing tempest. Coastal Gujarat feels Biparjoy's punch. A day before the powerful cyclone strikes,
tomorrow onwards, perhaps there will be also power line disrupted near the coastal line to avoid any further potential damage. But for now, what I see here at Mandvi Port, the last effort by the locals, the fishermen, is being done to save their lifelong assets. This will be only and one and only source of income for these fishermen community. So, of course, they all are praying for passage of this cyclone as soon as possible. But yes, there is apprehension, there is concern, and of course, they are scared.
once bustling fishing jetties are now deserted. Forceful gusts have bent trees, sent thatched roofs soared through the air. Emergency crews supplying essentials and carrying out urgent evacuations from the path of the storm. At least 45,000 people moved to safer locations so far.
गुजरात में 15 तारीख को तकरीबन शाम के समय इस साइक्लोन का लैंडफॉल होने वाला है। इसके मद्देनज़र एनडीआरएफ की 18 टीमों की तैनाती की गई है और एसडीआरएफ की भी 13 टीम वहां पर मौजूद हैं। वहां पर मैसिव इवैक्यूएशन किया गया है। तकरीबन 45,000 से ज़्यादा लोग सुरक्षित स्थान पर पहुंचाए गए हैं।
Like a benevolent fortress, a border outpost of the BSF in Kutch has swung open its gates, offering sanctuary to the weary souls from the impending fury of Biparjoy.
ये सारे फिशरमैन हैं जो यहाँ पे मछुआरी करके अपना जीवन बसर करते हैं, लेकिन अब उनको भी डर लगने लगा है, उनको भी डर सता रहा है, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं उनको लग रहा है कि साइक्लोन जो है वो सबसे ज्यादा इसी इलाके को प्रभावित करेगा। आप बताइए कितना डर लग रहा है, क्योंकि आप तो फिशरमैन है, तरवैया है और हमेशा समुद्र के साथ रहते हैं आप लोग।
वो बहुत डर लगा है। बच्चे से हमारे लेडीज बच्चे सब है, इसलिए हम बहुत डरे हुए।
आप बताइए समुद्र को इस तरीके से आपने पहले उफान पर देखा था कभी?
नहीं सर, अभी नहीं देखा है, अभी देखना पड़ रहा है। ये सब बच्चे के लेडीज को डर है, हमको तरवरिया है, हमको डर नहीं आता है, बच्चे के साथ डर होता है।
A well-defined swirling mass over the Arabian Sea. Biparjoy expected to make landfall between Mandvi in Gujarat and Karachi in southern Pakistan by Thursday evening. Seven people have died so far, 4 of them in Mumbai and 3 in Gujarat. The deaths attributed to accidents stemming from extreme weather conditions. The SDRF teams have panned across parts of Gujarat, Karnataka, Mumbai, Daman and Diu. Tracking sustained wind speeds between 125 and 135 kilometers per hour, which may gust up to 150. The potential for significant damage from Biparjoy remains high. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let me now get you the latest. This is where the cyclone is. Now it's expected to hit the Kutch coast. This will be the worst impacted area. At least that's the apprehension. The wind speeds up to 150 kilometers per hour. Once it makes landfall, now could it still deviate course? Could the course be altered? We'll talk about that in greater detail. But I now want to walk across and show you some of the worst impacted areas as far as the assessment goes at this point of time. So we spoke of the Kutch coast. Yes, this is where it will make landfall. Then let's look at Porbandar. Let's look at Dwarkadhish. Already devotees have been asked to stay away from the temple at least for the next 24 hours. Porbandar, Jamnagar. When it comes to the high seas, people have been moved to safety. But whether it's Porbandar or Rajkot, people are being moved to safer areas. I now want to cut across to Makrand Kulkarni of SkyMet Weather, who joins us on this broadcast. Makrand Kulkarni, I want to understand from you, sir, when you look at these sustained wind speeds, what's your prediction? One, about the timing of the landfall between 3 and 5 or later, and the impact, sir. I want to understand, sir, the timing of the impact and what will it be like during that impact?
So tomorrow late afternoon, like 3 to 5, the cyclone will hit, and it will hit as expected, as everybody is knowing now. It will hit near the Bharat-Pakistan boundary. Just north of there is a village Nalia in Kutch or Bhuj district. So north of that and near border, it will hit the coastline. So maximum wind speeds, what we are expecting, that might go up to 120 kilometers per hour, and it might gust to 130 or 150 kilometers per hour. After that, within, let's say, one day, the winds will reduce, but the rainfall will continue majorly for next one day, at least 1 or 2 days, in Dwarka, Bhuj, Kutch, and Jamnagar, Porbandar. This part of Gujarat will get more rainfall.
Is it likely to have massive? Is it likely to cause massive damage after landfall?
After landfall, the kacha houses, what we call, no, they might get very bad impact, like Juggij or those areas will be impacted. The concrete structures will not have any impact, as we know, those are very solid. But 150 kilometer per hour is very heavy wind speed, and particularly that part of India doesn't get many cyclones. So there, it's not like Odisha. We get every year 2-3 cyclones.
Yes.
So everybody is prepared now there with the type of houses and all those things. But here, you can see, you are also showing those pictures.
Yes.
The type of houses and all those are very not cyclone friendly or not cyclone sustainable. That might create.
But have there lessons been learned after the Kandla the cyclone of 1998, which caused massive damage and loss of life? We'll be tracking that story very closely. But the wind speeds remain a cause for concern, at least as of now. Once it hits the coastline, will it weaken? What kind of damage will it cause? What kind of preparations have been made? We'll be tracking that story very closely. That is all I have for you on India First this evening. Many thanks for watching.
From a policymaker's perspective, last 3 years, constant challenges, a new surprise coming up It was COVID, then it was the recovery and how we saw divergence in the economic recovery, then Ukraine, and who knew people were looking up the internet to find out what is this country that supplies over $1 billion worth of sunflower seeds to India, you know, things that were not perhaps in the mass domain. Your own sense that could a deficient monsoon play spoil sport with that sense of optimism that we are seeing in several sections of the economy?
I do not think so. I think we have the wherewithal to tackle even a bad monsoon. Of course, how bad, we do not know how bad it is going to be. But supposing it is 3 or 4% shortfall in rains, I think we would be able to handle that. Even in a year of normal monsoon, for example, last year, the monsoon was 107% of long period average. But as I wrote in my article in Deccan Herald, the production of sugarcane has been revised downward 4 times in the last 1 year because of lower production in Maharashtra and Karnataka. It is not that every year, even in year of normal monsoon, things are absolutely fine in all the states. No, monsoons are always erratic in some place or the other. So I do not think it will have a very bad impact on economy. We have the wherewithal, we have the experience of tackling bad monsoon, and I'm sure that my colleagues in the Agriculture Ministry and Food Ministry, as well as in the state governments, will be able to take care of the farmers. You see, the worst impact of El Nino and erratic weather is borne by the farmers, because they are the ones who lose their crop. Sometimes the first crop does not germinate, then they have to plant it again. So they have taken loan for the first crop. So they are the worst off. And what I want is that the crop insurance scheme and other government interventions will take care of the farmers.
Absolutely right. We're picking up from our finance ministry sources that disinvestment of Container Corporation, that is Concor, has hit a roadblock. In fact, this was in the offing because the government was expected to launch the expression of interest by January, that is of 2024, but as per finance ministry sources, the government may not be able to go ahead with the process in this fiscal year of 2023-2024 because of certain issues that they are facing from the railway department in terms of bringing a new investor on board. The cabinet had given a nod for 30.8% of government stake to be sold in Concor. Government holds about close to 55% stake, and this definitely puts on a lot of plans of government's disinvestment target, which is close to 51,000 crore for this year, because Concor was contributing about close to 20 to 22% in order to fetch about 12,000 crore with its 30.8% sale.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
Hello and welcome. You're with us on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. Top Maruti Suzuki official reveals the company's new luxury MPV Invicto and plans around it. The Aam Aadmi automaker details its plans to roll out the red carpet in an all-exclusive interview with Business Today TV. Markets rise for the third straight session, but gains are limited as investors eye US Fed rate outcome just about an hour from now. As many as 230 stocks hit their 52-week highs on the BSE. Wholesale price index falls to a 3-year low of minus 3.48% in May, can be attributed to a fall in prices of food and fuel and manufactured items. Another Business Today TV exclusive. There could be relief ahead for those anxious about 20% tax collected at source on overseas credit card spend. Tax officials trying to untangle several complications. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das honoured with the title of Governor of the Year for 2023 by Central Banking in London, recognised for his role in managing inflation and skillfully handling India's banking system during crises like the COVID pandemic and global turmoils. The legendary Beatles sound will come alive again later this year. John Lennon's voice to be created through artificial intelligence for the first song in 54 years. Maruti Suzuki all set to enter the luxury MPV market with a rebadged Toyota Innova Hi-Cross. As part of the Maruti stable, the car will be rechristened Invicto, will be launched on the 5th of July. That the company is in high gear is clearly evident, with the new launch coming just a month after Maruti drove its long-awaited SUV Jimny into the market. Maruti Senior Executive Officer Shashank Srivastava gave us more details on the Invicto and also talks about how the Jimny is faring against the Thar in this exclusive conversation with BTTV's Chetan Bhutani.
Invicto is coming up. Tell us the first thing. What does it mean by Invicto? Is it like the brother sister of Innova, or what is the strategy behind it?
No. Of course, it's a brother sister of Innova Hi-Cross, but the name Invicto is comes from a Latin word which is invictus, and that means unbeatable, invincible. And since this car has everything, great comfort, great experience, great drive, good tech, great features, therefore we thought that a name like Invicto will be quite appropriate.
All right. Shashank, give us those details, the key important details that you can share as of now of the Invicto, the pricing strategy, the details of the vehicle.